Do you want to surf faster? Do you want your board to feel loose with maximum drive through every turn? Do you even have the right fins in your board? Introducing my signature 5-fin set, designed for maximum speed and drive with a large fin base to power you through turns. Plus medium fin depth keeps your board loose and responsive, reducing drag for unstoppable speed and glide. Proven performance after years of testing in the best boards from the biggest brands. Unlock your full potential with my signature 5-fin set. Get your fins now at surfandshow.com. Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas. Today's surfboard review, the Synthetic 84 by Timmy Patterson. Now this is a 5.5 coming in at 25.25 liters. I'm 5'9" and 165 pounds. It's gonna be fun. Sit back, get your favorite drink, enjoy the show. Now I'm stoked to have some of the Timmy boards get on the show pretty much at the request of our community. I've never ridden one before and I reached out to Timmy saying, hey, a lot of our community's asking for some of his boards. And I asked him, what do you think would be ideal for, the waves that we surf on the regular? We talked about our community. I really try and pick boards that I think our community will love, from that lower level, intermediate, all the way to expert level surfers. Something that has that quick get up and go speed, that's easy to shred. He's like, let's go Synthetic 84. Now it has this 80s vibe to it. I want to talk about the outline. It has this little bump back here in the tail, a little bit wider tail block. Maybe when I say a little bit wider, I'm talking about compared to a typical high performance shortboard. Now, as we come into the middle of the board, I have to point out that it has a relatively flat deck. And when I put my hands on the rail, I would say it's a down rail with a lower apex, because when you have a flat deck and they carry the foam out here to the edge, you really have to taper that rail down, because this board's carrying so much speed that you want that rail to actually give you some traction and hold through your turns. And that's exactly how it felt under my feet. But I want to mention, because it has a flatter deck, if my typical small wave performance board, or even like a daily driver, if my thickness is, let's say, 2 5/16, or sometimes it's 2 3/8, depending on board design, I would say this would be even a little bit less in thickness to what I would order if I was doing a custom. So if I usually ride 2 5/16 thick, I might go 2 1/4 here. Now coming into the front end of the board, it has a little beak nose, and I would say it's got a relatively relaxed entry rocker, like low to medium. So when I talk quick get up and go speed, a lot of that for me is about what the rocker's doing. Now on the bottom contours, nothing super trick, but I've been seeing and riding a lot of boards that have this single to double to even V out the tail. And I personally feel like it's got that surface area, the lift, water flow coming through the fins, and double with V really helps the board roll over on rail and have great flow. Now on the fins, I have this preference that when I first get on a board here at the pool and it has 3 boxes, I want the board to always feel fast and loose with maximum drive. So I lean towards a twin plus trailer. So that's where I started. This is a pivot twin, so it's relatively upright. It does have a wider base, a little bit more surface area than most twin plus trailers. So it's the best of both carve and pivot, because the base is so wide. I can push off this and get a lot of drive. And with the smaller center fin, it gives me the stability and something to pivot off of, but I really like how it's easy to just push the tail through the lip and get a little bit release. And after riding it for like the first hour or two, it had that fast and loose feeling. Now there was a couple turns where I thought I wouldn't mind a little bit more drive or a little bit more hold. And so for you purists that like thrusters, I kind of pushed it with trying to tighten it up a bit. So I went from fast and loose with good drive, but not maximum hold with the stabilizer, to a raked thruster template. So this has quite a bit of rake. And it has the larger base, so I'm still getting something to push off of, and this tightened up the board quite a bit. So much so that like if I did a layback carve with the pivot twin plus trailer, it'd have a little bit of release. With the rake template, I could actually lay into that turn so hard with almost trying to push both legs straight, and the board just had incredible hold. So it's really about what you want the board to feel. I did feel like the rake template, it tightened the board up, it gave it more drive, and if I'm surfing a little bit bigger waves, or even waves that have more open face, and if I have like a lot of speed down the line and I want to draw out my turns, this would be the fin I would choose, or a rake template like this. There's something about the way it comes off the bottom with so much drive, and then into your carves and cutbacks, it's always gaining speed and giving me that predictability underfoot that it's not going to slide unless I want it to. Now, if this would be something that I would ride maybe in like 3 foot and smaller on the synthetic 84, and then you can always go with a neutral template to have the best of both. Like if you wanted to change out of the twin plus trailer and maybe ride a rake template when it's like 4 to 6 foot surf, you could go with a neutral template or a pivot thruster set and get into the lip quick, especially for you guys that surf a lot of punchy kind of closeout beach breaks where you want to get 2 turns where you can only fit maybe 1 turn with a good rake fin.
This is a synthetic 84 by Timmy Patterson. It's a stock 5.8 coming in around 28.7 liters. I'm 5'8" and 175 pounds, and this board is a stringered epoxy board, and it felt really good. It almost felt similar to a PU with a little more float, pop, and flex. So the fins that I like best for this board in chest high and smaller waves or mushy conditions were Noel's pivot twin set, and those went really well on this board. They had good hold, a lot of drive, and they gave me a lot of speed, especially through flat, mushy sections. And when the wave stood up, I was able to get into the lip and release the tail and get some good turns there too. One of the punchier days I surfed, I tried this P8 Futures pivot set, and that worked really well too. So it gave me a little more hold with the larger back fin, but it was also gave me a good amount of pivot and drive and precision with this board in punchier waves. So this board has a flat deck, but it's got nice performance rails. They're kind of pinched down. It's got a little beak nose on it, but what was really nice about this board in Florida conditions was in small mushy waves through flat sections, this thing flew because it's got a really low rocker, but it's got a nice pulled in tail and performance rails. So when the wave stood up, I was able to get into the lip really well or do a nice carve into the pocket.
My buddy Asa.
Yeah, buddy.
Cascavilla, we've got T Patterson synthetic 84. What are your thoughts? How'd it feel under your feet?
Felt great. Board was super fun, super fast and loose. I felt like it pivoted really well. A little bump back here. Enjoyed it a ton actually. Rode it twin plus trailer just like you see it, and I had a good drive off the bottom, and it was fun.
Did it feel loose? I mean, that's how it felt with me on this particular setup right here, and like you said, it's fast, like lightning quick top to bottom.
Yeah, it loved to get into the lip, and when it would get into the lip, it felt loose in the tail, and I could kind of bring it around nicely.
Yeah, I saw you get a lot of like snaps and then to a lot of tail sides, a lot of release. Looked like you were having fun on it.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Now, one of the last things I want to mention, and I know you guys are going to ask me about this, doesn't this board remind me of the Lost Rad Ripper? It has the 80s vibe, beak nose, flat deck, but there are some different subtleties about the synthetic 84. This only has 3 boxes. This has a bump. I remember the Rad Ripper having more of like a wing, and they ride completely different. there are some similarities, but I kind of struggled with the Rad Ripper being a little bit sticky as a thruster. This board feels a little bit more forgiving under the front foot. Riding it as a thruster, I didn't feel like it was sticky at all, and I really like the Rad Ripper as a quad. So when we talk about boards that look similar, we can't go there mentally and say, oh, that's just like the Rad Ripper. They ride completely different. And I'll say this, for you thruster guys that like the Rad Ripper, I think you're gonna like the Synthetic 84. It has more flow. I feel like it might be a tad faster, and it's pivoting real quick, but you're running thruster or twin plus trailer. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's surfboard review on the Synthetic 84 by Timmy Patterson. I'm calling it a small wave performance board, best in that 2 to 6 foot surf. And for our community, I would say it's more of that lower level intermediate all the way to pro level surfers. I think you guys will have a great time on it. Get the fins dialed, you can get it to feel exactly how you want. And it's kind of fun to ride a board that has a little throwback to the 80s. Now, special shout out thanks to Timmy for sending this board in for review. Look, if you like the show, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Until next time, we'll see you in the water. Bye-bye.